Hello and welcome back. Today, my guest is Case Parks, actually another friend of mine. He is a fellow YouTube content creator, or maybe on a little bit of a break now, but he does have a really awesome YouTube channel. He's also a reconnected healing practitioner, meaning he is connected to a frequency that is new to the planet and actually has the ability to connect you to that frequency as well. So, what's up, Case? How you doing, man?
What's going on, dude? Glad to be here, man. I
Awesome.
love this new channel. It'll be interesting to see you actually more interactive with people.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I've watched a few of them and I dig them. Yeah.
Cool. So how, I guess you can like just maybe share your story. Like how exactly did you go from like wherever you were, just like a regular person, I guess, to doing this for a living?
I think I'm still a regular person, but yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's funny because your channel is the awakening experience, and I really feel like I've went through two awakenings. And I think on some level, like we all go through two awakenings. That first awakening is like when you start realizing that, we've been lied to since birth, and like we've been manipulated, and it's just like everywhere. And it seems like we've been controlled. And, I started going down those rabbit holes, in my early 20s. And dude, I couldn't stop, man. I just kept just wanted to know more and more of how we're controlled. And I really felt like I was like getting this energy. Like the more I found out how controlled, I was just like, oh my God, like, yeah. And my wife's like, dude, what are you doing? And and I was like, and dude, back then, if we would have talked for like 5 minutes, I would have started telling you how we are controlled and how we're being manipulated. And and so I did that for like a long time. And I really felt like that is an awakening from the matrix, awakening from, the sleeping masses, that are just doing exactly what they're told. And it's probably a necessary, step. But when I was going through that, I always felt like there's got to be a reason. Like there's got to be a reason. It can't just be more power. It can't just be more money. Like there has to be a reason we're being lied to. And so I just, just kept pursuing that. And I remember, I think I was around 40, long time ago. And that was the first time that that was the first time that I heard that your thoughts, that we are all vibration, and that our thoughts actually leave our body and go out into this field and are literally attracting experiences and people into our life that match this frequency. And I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, oh, that's true. Like that's like, it's almost like you can feel when you bump into the truth. It's like, oh, this is real. And so from that point on, man, I just became obsessed. I think this is the second part of my awakening, when I just became obsessed with how powerful we are, and that we're actually creating our life. And then I became, I just like basically put myself through like this quantum mechanics, quantum physics type of degree through, YouTube and books, and it was still relatively science oriented. You know what I mean? Like I was fascinated with the science that was proving that we were connected. And so I was just like following those breadcrumbs, and everything seemed to be making more sense. When I looked at my life, I was like, oh my God, I've been creating this. I've had these limiting beliefs, and they've kept me in this little box of experiences. And so everything was making more sense. And even though I believed that, there was life throughout the universe, I'd never seen a UFO, but I believed that there was intelligent life throughout the universe. But it really, like this new awakening on how powerful we are, and that never really like came together. They were kind of separate, And then I remember one day I'm watching this video, and when I got done, it was a Greg Braden video. And when I got done, dude, I was so excited. I started watching this other video on the science of healing. And it was this dude, I've talked about this in my videos. There's this dude, and he's like floating his hands over these people. and they are having like these amazing healings, like cancer disappearing, getting out of wheelchairs, like immediate healings. And I never wanted to be a healer. That never, there was, I was an artist and inventor and golf professional and entrepreneur. I didn't want to be a healer like that. I never said, oh my God, I want to do like Reiki, or like, I want to be like this healer. But there was something about this dude that I said, I think I'm supposed to read this guy's book, And so I buy the book, I read the book, or actually I just read like about 20 pages in this book. And I remember I like set the book down and I like pulled my hands out, and all of a sudden I could feel my hands became like magnetic, and I could feel whatever I did with one hand, I could feel with the other. And I was just like, I like, it was almost like the second I felt, I was like, oh my God, this is why I'm here. Like this is I've been waiting my whole life for this. And so since I was self-employed, man, I just walked around, just playing with these frequencies, these sensations, and they just kept getting stronger and stronger. And then finally I'm like, well, shit, man. Like I have my friend come over and be like, hey dude, lay on the couch, close your eyes and shut up. Don't say anything. And I would just like bring my hands in, and immediately, dude, like start like flipping, and they just start like twitching and stuff. And I'm like, what's going on, dude? Like this is real. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, this is real. And then basically, that's when I really started accelerating into this second level of awakening. And that is this shift that we're going through, this transition from the third density to the fourth density. Well, actually, the Earth is going through this shift, making her ascension, and we're here going along for the ride. But unfortunately, a lot of us aren't raising our frequency, and I don't think they're going to make the shift, dude. But anyway, so with these frequencies, when this dude was a chiropractor, and when he first started to do this, he had like 50 of his patients that when he walked up to them to give them an adjustment, they all lost consciousness, their eyes rolled back, and they all channeled the same 6 phrases. And like 2 of those phrases are, what you're doing is reconnecting strands. What you're doing is reconnecting strings. Now, I don't know where people are in their awakening, but when you start going down these rabbit holes in science and quantum mechanics and in this deeper esoteric information, dude, it's all our DNA. Like your DNA is everything. Like our DNA was unplugged. We were unplugged from who we originally are. And your DNA is an antenna. It's how we connect with this field of consciousness. And most of us are walking around on like a dial-up connection with this field of consciousness. And it's just this glitchy connection. And it's one of the reasons we're so easily, misled. We're so easily, gullible. And I mean, I'm not saying that these frequencies are the only way that our DNA starts to wake up, because you can, fear will absolutely prevent your DNA from waking up. Because here's the way I look at it. I look at it like this ascension that we're going through, dude, this is like clockwork. This is basically like clockwork. All the indigenous people knew that when we get to this age, we are going to be in a new section of the galaxy. We are going to be in this new energy, and this new energy is going to activate us. It's going to activate our DNA, and we're going to begin to wake up. I do think that this frequency is accelerating our waking up like tremendously. But I just feel like oh, so let's go back to like the alien thing where we're like, so I was completely focused on the science aspect of this. And I remember when I first like started giving like my friend sessions, I'll give you two examples. And these are two of the most important people in my life. And both of these people are just really good old souls. They're really good people. Um, they're not into like any crazy esoteric galactic federation, like Pleiadian, you know what I mean? Just like really good people that are old souls. You can tell they're old souls. And that would be like my partner, my wife, and my mom. And so I hope you can put yourself in my perspective, because I'm just going through my life, just trying to, just following my excitement and doing my thing and inventing little golf products and just trying to understand this world and trying to make my way through. You know what I mean? Just trying to wake up. And all of a sudden, when this happens to me, I remember I told my wife, and I was like, "Hey, what? Let me give you a session." She's like, "Okay." So she lays down, and I had never. I think she might have been the first session I ever gave. I might have given a couple friend sessions first, but I remember she laid down, and I just started like bringing in these frequencies, and like nothing was happening. Like her eyes weren't moving. Yeah, she was not my first. I actually gave some friends sessions first. And so she's laying down and like nothing's happening. Like her eyes aren't moving. She's not twitching. There's no like nothing going on. And I'm feeling these frequencies and I'm just like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? Like something's wrong. And then I started like questioning myself. It's like, oh, dude, this is, like I became really like insecure and like embarrassed and like, oh my God, I felt bad that I like had her lay down. And so I go for like a half hour because that's what the book said, like he gives them a half hour session. And I'll never forget, man, I like when I got done, I was so like insecure at the time and kind of embarrassed, even though I'd already been with my wife for 16 years. Okay. Before that, I was just like, so did you feel anything? And she looked at me, and dude, she's like the most down to earth, like just like salt of the earth person. And she looked at me and she says, I just had a 25-minute conversation with a 9-foot cricket in a purple robe. And I go, what? And she goes, I just had this. And I go, what did you guys, what? Like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? And, I didn't know anything about the manus beings or anything like that back then. Like I was literally cherry to all of this other beings, other dimensional beings that are here right now in this space. And we just can't see because we're not vibrating at that frequency. And I was like, what did he say? Like, what are we talking about, man? And she goes, I actually don't know, but I just know that I have never felt more love in my entire life. And it felt like a fatherly figure. And I'm like, now this is my wife, dude. And I'm telling you, man, it's like, this is so out of left field. Like I just can't even tell you how this is not like her. And I was like, okay, so for a while there, man, I was like digesting, like what is going on here? And I wasn't actually doing this for a living yet. You know what I mean? Like I was just starting. So like now I have these types of like conversations with people daily. You know what I mean? Like I basically every day people are telling me these experiences they're having that are just out of this world. So that was my wife. And then like a month later, my mom flies out because we just had my son. And my mom's the same way, dude. Just like this really nice lady, down to earth, you know what I mean? Probably didn't even believe in aliens or anything. And she knew that I was like into this. And she was like, and I go, hey mom, you want me to like give you a session? He's like, yeah, sure. So, so I'll never forget. So I go, okay. So we go in the master bedroom, and I have my 2-month-old son in my arms. Okay, so I'm holding, and my mom lays down, and so I'm just sitting there, and I go like this, I bring my hand in, and as soon as I bring my hand in, her head rolls back, her eyes roll back in her head, and she just like starts lifting off the ground and like levitating off the bed and shit. I mean, not, you know, there was parts of her touching the bed, but like levitating off the bed. And I go, Adela, I'm screaming to my wife. I'm like, get in here. And I'm like sitting there, and my mom was like shaking, and her eyes are literally roll back in her head. I'm going, what is going on? Like, you know what I mean? And like, and dude, I gave her a session for like 20 minutes, and I wish I would have recorded it, but I'm just like, I don't even know what to think. It'd be like your mom, dude. Could you imagine your mom coming over, doesn't believe in any of this stuff, nothing, and just like, oh, sure, I'll lay it down. And you go like this, and she like it's crazy, man. And so, and then I remember when I was done, it was so it's interesting. It was polar opposite, because my wife did absolutely nothing, had this amazing experience, and then my mom, I get done, and I tap her, I'm like, okay, and I'm waiting, and I'm like, what? How? You know, like, tell me about it. And she's like, oh, cool. And I go, what happened? She's nothing, nothing. And I go, you don't know what you were doing? And she's like, no, what happened? And I go, you were like, dude, you were like, your eyes would roll back in your head, and you're like levitating, your arms, your legs going up. And dude, she's like 75, you know what I mean? Like, she's not like, and she's like, I did not. And I'm like, what is going on, man? And then I actually went, and, you know, I got trained for this, and dude, as soon as this started happening to me, I always felt like I was being guided to new information, like like breadcrumbs, you know. And dude, the breadcrumbs, like, it was amazing that the new information that came into my life after this started. And I just was absorbing this information like a sponge, and everything was making perfect sense. And it's just, you know, I don't know. So I guess those are the two stages that I went to and went through in my awakening. And now I don't have any time at all for stage one. Like, I'll never talk about any of that shit. It to me, like, stage one is necessary, but dude, it needs to be temporary, because it's a trap, because it will keep your frequency low. It will keep that fear in your body, and you will never know how amazing and how powerful you are when you're in fear. And you become, and, you know, the world is a mirror. And so, you know, as we're in this fear, we're drawing these experiences that validate that we're being controlled. We like it's like this self-propelling, self-fulfilling experience, that there's another step. And so my videos, I try to tell people that there's another step past this. You know what I mean? There's another step when you become invisible to, like, I don't give a fuck. I really don't give a fuck about any of these dark hats or the manipulation or the, you know, the like the, you know, I don't, it's meaningless to me. And I do feel on some level that is what's going to keep people from making this transition into the fourth density.
I remember you were the first person I ever heard say that, when I almost got stuck in that trap, because I fell down that rabbit hole and I was in it for a few months. And a video you put on YouTube was the first time I ever heard anybody say, you know, all these horrible things that they're doing, and they're poisoning our air and they're poisoning our food. And then you said, so what? It didn't work.
Yeah.
I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the first time I ever heard that.
Because they, you know, I don't even like to talk about it, but whatever, they feed off of our fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I just decided that, because when I came to that conclusion through, you know, the information that I was digesting, you know, both video and books, and, you know, whatever format they came to me, I just realized that like I, I'm too powerful to feed them. And I'll never feed they again with fear. And I let go of that fear. And as soon as I let go of that fear, I became free. And my life became filled with magic. And my life completely changed. Now, it's almost like, if you feel like you need to protect yourself, well, first of all, dude, that's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Like, dude, as soon as you start protecting yourself from things, then not only are you creating those things, and you're definitely going to experience, a reason to protect yourself, but I don't know. I don't know. It's just so I absolutely feel. I think that I think that the second awakening is what everybody is looking for when you move past that and you realize that you're an aspect of God, and that we're all one, and that everybody is playing their role perfectly, and everybody is this mirror to your inside. And only when you change that, dude, does your world change. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard you saying in one of your videos, you ask, I can't remember what you said. You're like, are we getting close? Are there enough people waking up? I think that's what you said. Like, are there
Yeah.
enough people waking up for
Are we
this?
making good progress, basically?
And the point is like this shift is going to happen. So if 2% of us are ready, then 2% go. If 20% have raised their frequency and are ready, then they go. The rest, dude, are going to repeat. So it doesn't matter about them. Like it really, like, nobody's low frequency shit is going to affect you unless you let it. Like, you are in charge of you. And so do I think that, there was a time there where I literally thought that the majority of people were going to transition to this new world. And I don't really think that anymore. I,
It's
I
hard,
don't.
man.
I don't think like all I got to do is look around the world, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And I do want to say that, like, sometimes people, we get caught up in this idea of awakening. We caught up in this idea of learning all this esoteric stuff. And we kind of feel like the more we know, the closer we are to the higher our frequency. That's not it, dude. Your frequency is determined by, are you a good person? Like, that's it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you know. It's like, are you a good person? Do you help people? Like, do you help? Like, that's it, dude. Like, that's how you're evaluated, whether you go where you make the transition, dude. Are you a good person? Are you a loving person? It's not how much you know, and it's not how it's none of that shit.
And are you happy?
Are you happy?
Yeah.
Well, I I do think that I do think that those are correlated. Yeah, for
Yeah, because
sure.
there's a lot of people that know a lot of shit, but they're angry and
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
frustrated.
totally. That's what I'm saying. It's like a trap. Like, because I watched videos. I watched that. I watched the people that are into the deep state and the dark hats, and like, that, and like, dude, they don't seem too happy. They have not made it to that next step. I really don't believe that. And I don't want to be like one of those guys that's like, this is urgent. You know what I mean? Like, this is like, it's now or never. You know what I mean? Like it's the time's now. But dude, the time's now.
It kind of is. That's what I was thinking.
And
Yeah.
it's go time. And if you're not waking up, and if you're not waking up and going inside now, then, dude, you're probably going to repeat. And who cares, dude? We've probably, like, I think we've all repeated. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's like, dude, Earth is for real. Like, this is the most challenging because, like,
Mhm.
if we were on a planet and everybody, every consciousness that chose to play this game, to go through this experience, was looking to go into like a fourth density positive, to go to the next level positive, then this would be easy. Like, this
Yeah.
would be easy. But dude, this is mixed. You know what I mean? Like, this is a mixed planet. There are entities here, there are beings here whose goal is to graduate to the fourth density negative. So we got some super negative dudes on this planet. And unfortunately, a lot of them are in power and have been disseminating, like, fearful, limiting programming to us that we're stuck in. And so that's what I'm thinking is, like, this new section of the galaxy that contains these, like, frequencies. Some people call it a photon belt. Scientists actually say it's like this cloud of radiation. Everybody's uses their own words, but, like, I really believe, like, it's turning on that internal compass to where we're like, that's bullshit. That didn't feel
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Like that's bullshit. I'm not buying into that anymore. And so it's like we have an internal compass that has been broken, and we've been going for hundreds of thousands of years. Like, we're like a 12-cylinder car functioning on 2 cylinders,
Mhm.
and we think that that's right. Like, oh yeah, 2 cylinders, man. It's like, no, dude, no, we're a 12-cylinder car. And, I mean, when you spend eons in the dark and then the lights are turned on, you have to disregard every single thing that you learned in the dark, because there was no light. So and that goes back to that, like, we're going through this, we're realizing we're programmed, but, like, the reason you have to reprogram yourself, the reason you have to let go of everything that you think about yourself, is because all that was created in the dark. And
Yeah.
we're in a different world now. Like literally, this is different. Like, nobody in Earth's history has ever went through this. So this is, like, brand new. And it's an amazing time to be alive.
Yeah,
Amazing time.
it's kind of seems too like there are some beings that are here who want to repeat, because it almost kind of seems like some beings are actually addicted to the third dimensional, that
Yeah,
it's kind
certainly
of like
seems that way.
there was a friend of mine that I used to talk to who said that she referred to those beings. She would make the analogy that they're like extreme sports junkies, like the people who will climb Mount Everest knowing that it's hard, knowing that they
Yeah.
could possibly die, but
Yep.
they do it
Yeah.
because they enjoy that contrast and that intensity. So,
Well, cool, dude. They get to keep doing it. Like,
yeah.
fucking keep doing it, man. Right on. Good for them. Like, you can repeat it as many times as you want. So, I mean, we're all going to the same place in the end. So, like, whatever with that. But, like, it does seem like, um, I mean, is that our programming? Um, I don't know.
It's
I,
really
I
hard to
really
say.
don't
It,
know.
it kind of feels like it's like I view it like it literally is. And I know that there's a lot of mixed opinions on this, so I may be not using the best phrase, but it's like a game. And with
Mm-hmm.
every game, there's a challenge to it. Like, well, here's
Mm-hmm.
what makes the game hard. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
makes it hard. I think there's some beings here too that their whole reason for being here is to try to grab onto you and keep you in place. And the challenge is, can you, because they can't actually grab onto you. The only thing they can do is trigger you to lower your own
To
frequency.
empower them and to feed them. And yeah. Well, I absolutely believe that, um, there are beings outside of us that would prosper from us not waking up, from being in fear, and to continuing to feed them. Um, I mean, I think the earth is like cutting edge. I really do. Like, I think that I don't think that anybody just is allowed to come to earth. It's like, hey man, I want to check out earth. Like, dude, you're not ready for earth. Like you will implode if you got to have some skills before you can even play this game, because when we come and our memories wiped, and we're completely this feeling of being separate from source, and when you lose your memory, and then you're programmed in such fearful, limited understanding of our world, dude, that is very challenging. Okay, here's a perfect example. Okay, to me, this perfectly represents how difficult Earth is. Okay, so I just went to hang out with my dad and stepmom for a week, and I took my oldest and my youngest. And so we go there. And now keep in mind that my kids are homeschooled, and that I've always worked at home, and my wife basically does all the schooling. And so my kids' whole life have not only been in this little bubble, but they have been supported in whatever they are interested in. And I'm not one of those people, like, back in my day, like, if you decided to do something, you did it. And then if you just said, I'm not into this anymore, you were a quitter. So, you don't want to be a quitter, dude. You want to like grind it out. You know what I mean? Like, keep doing it, man, because you made the decision and you got to do it. Well, I don't really raise my kids that way. Like, I'm like, hey, dude, does that excite you? Then do it, lean into it, do it. And then like 6 months later, if it doesn't excite you, then move on. You know what I mean? Like move, like you're not a quitter. Like, it was a stepping stone to the next place you're going. So they've basically, in that frame, they've been unconditionally supported. So we go see my dad, who's this really cool dude. He's just super laid back. But my stepmom is like a really, like, let's just say that, like, whenever you say something, she always goes negative. It's always worst case scenario. It's always like it's not supportive. It's always negative. These people, dude. They're all fucking over. So we go there and we hang out for a week. Like, a week, dude. That's a long time. So we're there, and I'm totally conscious and aware of this negative drip, this negative IV that we are being exposed to, from her. And I don't really have a problem with it, because I know who I am, and I see it as her programming. I see it as she's programmed into this negative outcome, negative outlook. Everything's worst case scenario. And basically, as I'm listening to her, I'm just like, she's crazy. So, that's cool. Like, whatever. I like, literally, it's like she's programmed, but she's crazy. So it doesn't really affect me. But my daughter, dude, who's been nothing but loved and supported for 16 years, after 1 week of that shit, she's like questioning all of her ideas on like what she wants to be, like going through like this 16-year-old crisis on the future of like what she, and I'm just like, dude, screw her, dude. She's crazy, dude. Like, why would you even allow that to have you question yourself? Dude, that's how crazy Earth is. Like, you can go 16 years of nothing but support, and then all of a sudden somebody starts introducing, like, oh, what are you going to do about this? Oh yeah, but did you think about this? Oh yeah, but this. Do you know about? And it's just like, so, dude. See, that's the thing that happens to people, is when they start to wake up, they want to tell people. They want to tell people, but dude, they're not ready to tell people, because when they tell people, they really want confirmation. They want support. Dude, they're not going to get support.
Yeah.
Because you're talking to crazy people. And so when you start waking up and you go, oh my God, did you know this? Did you know this? And people, and they don't get that love and that support back, then they question themselves. Like, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm like, dude, this is a really, this
Either
is an
either that
intense.
or get really irritated. Like, to me, I don't really question myself. The problem that I struggle with and that I'm still trying to overcome is that I get angry. You know, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
still struggle with whenever I see somebody who is like really, really programmed, and I try to introduce a different way of thinking,
Yeah.
and they reject it. I get angry. Like, how could you be so
Well, you
stupid?
need to get over that
Yeah, I know.
fast
I've been
because,
working on
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, because, and I've talked about that, and I know I probably come across as like an asshole when I say this, but it's like they're on their own path, and it goes back to that one statement. It's like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And that's the thing, is like, all you can do is shine your light, and if they can see it, they see it, and if they don't, it's not personal. It's like they have their path, and you want everybody to wake up. Of course, you want everybody to be happy, and to live a fulfilled and content and joyful experience. But you want them to break out of their programming. But and see, that goes back to that one thing that I said earlier. Is like, I really was in I was naive, and I really thought a majority of people were going to make this transition. And I thought it was my job to be on that love train, like shouting, "Come on, man, all aboard, come on. This is, yeah, you got the fear train and the love train. Come on, jump on the love train." And I mean, I hate to talk about my first video. And I know you probably heard me say this shit like 10 times, but you know, like, I really feel like it was like 2012. You got two trains. You got the love train and you got the fear train. You got the, oh my God, I'm creating my life. I'm this, this powerful being. I'm an aspect of God. And it's like, oh, I'm being controlled. We're being manipulated. I'm a victim. And so those trains in 2012 were side by side, headed in opposite directions. And, the train starts off slow, and then it gains momentum. And so, and the metaphor was, in 2013, 2014, 2015, you just walk back and forth, you know, 9 o'clock in the morning, you're this amazing being. Everything's working out in your favor. The universe has your back. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, fuck, man, everything's out to get me. You know what I mean? Like, so you just, your day fluctuates between, love train and fear train. And, as the years go on, the trains speed up. And like, dude, now we're in 2022, and I'm kind of content with realizing that if you're on that fear train, you might not be able to get off. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Like, it's not my job to, like, my job is to be on the love train and to just set an example for the people that I encounter, to live my authentic self, and to just be an example for the people I meet and for my children. And when I make videos, I haven't made a video in a long time, but just to be myself, and to hopefully that will help people, for them to be their authentic self. And I don't know. So yeah, I know what you mean about being angry,
Yeah,
because you
it's
care, because at the core of you, you care.
mhm.
And that we're all one. And so you hate to see an aspect of you locked into a box so tight that it's not pleasant. But what can you do? What can you do? Um,
Yeah,
so
I'm getting much better at it. A couple of years ago it was way worse. When
yeah,
the clock struck
yeah,
2020, and we all got that slap in the face and saw who all was really asleep, it was much worse.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man, that freaked me out. But now
yeah,
it's not as bad as it used to be, but I'm still working on it. I still have
yeah,
to actually catch myself and say, let them do what they
yeah.
want, so
You dude, in 2020, that was probably one of the greatest years of my life.
yeah.
like it was literally like I've mentioned it before that it was like a snow day. You know how, I don't know if you grew up in a place where it snowed,
Oh yeah.
but when you woke up and you found out you didn't have to go to school, um, that was an amazing feeling. And I was just like, because I don't know, I just really, but I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It was a wake up call to. It really brought out the true level of fear that people have.
Yeah.
And when that fear came to the surface and you really saw it, it was shocking.
Yeah.
It was absolutely shocking. And to see people in so much fear that they just would do whatever they were told,
Yeah.
that is shocking.
It was sad, and it terrified me. I mean, it was an awakening for me, like
Yeah,
that, like
yeah,
I honestly, with every fiber of my being, believed that everybody was really awakening. And when
yeah,
when the little bullshit first started popping off, I seriously was like, ain't nobody gonna play that game.
yeah, yeah,
And they
yeah,
all
yeah,
started playing it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah, yeah.
scared the shit out of me, dude. And
My
huh?
Yeah. I was gonna say my big one was and when I say that I was down the conspiracy hole, like I'm not, I mean, I was deep. I was deep down there. So when 9/11 happened, literally, this is how far deep down the rabbit hole is. When 9/11 happened, after the initial shock, you know, I would say maybe the next day, I was like, they'll be able to do whatever they want to do. They've created this scenario and they'll be able to do whatever they want to do. And what do? We go to war and we start killing all the we and it's all fake. It's like, to me, it was all fake. I'm like, how do you buy? Are you shitting me? Like it was like, dude, everybody's from Saudi Arabia and we're going into Iraq, and I like, what the fuck? Like, what are you, like? This is like, and it was like we were just throwing money, and just like it was just like, here we are. We don't have like free schooling. We, like, people are poor. We have poverty everywhere, and we're sending trillions upon trillions of dollars to fight these wars for oil and gas, or for oil. And because these like Saudi Arabians that had box cut, like, are you
Yeah.
kidding? Do you really believe that shit, dude? Like, oh my God. Because to me, like, our government, and I still believe this. I never talk about it because I don't give a shit anymore about this. But our government did that. They allowed that to happen. And it was, I mean, you talk about a simulation, dude. Like, and so for me, that was like massive. So this 2020 thing, that was like, that wasn't even on the same level. But I mean, I guess it was because it was global and we shut down the world. But I don't know. It was like, I don't know what.
Nuts.
How old were you when 9/11 happened?
I was
You were a
in
kid,
seventh
teenager, right?
grade.
Like,
Yeah, I was like
yeah,
13.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
I didn't know what was going on. And I mean, even at that, when I was a kid, I never cared what was on the news.
Yeah, yeah,
When
yeah.
I was a little bitty kid, I can remember consciously, like my grandparents were obsessed with the news,
Mm-hmm.
and there was always something bad happening. And every time we would go somewhere, I would look around like, okay, where's all this bad stuff at? And I'm a little kid. I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
conspiracy
yeah, yeah.
minded or nothing like that. And then after a
Totally.
while, I mean, like, man, I'm not seeing anything bad happening. So, and I just came to this conclusion. I'm like, I don't really care what's on the news because
Yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah,
saying all
yeah.
these bad things are happening.
Beautiful.
I'm not seeing it. So I just immediately flipped that switch and never paid attention to anything that was on the news as a
Dude, do
little
you
kid.
realize what a beautiful metaphor that is? Like that, like that's the essence. Because um, even in like Christ, I think Christ was like, you must be childlike. You must be childlike. And I'm the same way, dude, because I can look on, like, now I can look on the news, and it's nothing but chaos and war, and the economy's crashing, and like blah blah blah. Um, but in my life, every single person that I meet at the store, like when I'm, whatever I'm doing, is nice and friendly. And so And I do believe that, like, as the earth makes this transition into the fourth density, and I did believe for a long time that this shift that we're going through, this splitting of realities, was going to happen all at once, to a majority of people. And now I realize that no, that's not what's going to happen. It's happening individually. And as your vibration rises, you shift. We're constantly shifting. So I don't care what's happening in the mass consciousness. I'm not, like, you can't wait on this 100th monkey tipping point for this transition, because if you do that, you will not make it. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be miserable. You're like, because all of our power is in the now. And that's all we have is right now, the present moment. There is no fucking time. There is no future. So it's now. So quit waiting on the mass consciousness to get their shit together, and just focus on yourself, and your world will change. You will shift to a reality where what you need comes to you, and you will, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you normally ever come up with it? Because I'm always trying to think of the right thing to say to plant that seed. Like what you were talking about a minute ago about people who are stuck in the conspiracy trap and whatnot. And like you, and I agree too, that I think that's a very important part of the process. But that, like, creates this emotional addiction. And do you ever have you ever thought of the right thing to say to help somebody flip out of that?
Yeah, well, this is probably the best. I'm really glad you said that, because let's go back to my trip with my stepmom. Now, my stepmom is this born again Christian. And that's one of the crazy, like, I really have like this pet peeve with organized religions, because the way organized religion is able to put people in these tiny boxes. And if anything doesn't fit in that box, it's shunned. It's like pushed away. So my stepmom knows that I've been doing this work for 11 years. So while I'm there, I actually quit. I actually have kind of been on a sabbatical from giving sessions, just because I just wanted to just, besides my daily sessions, I give daily sessions, but besides that, and dude, I'm sorry, I should have sent you my schedule, because dude, you've been so good to me that, if you ever the idea that I haven't, I was like, oh my God, what a dick. Like, I can't believe I haven't, like,
That's
it's
cool.
ridiculous. But anyway, so one day I'm outside and I'm doing my daily session. I'm just kind of lost in these frequencies. And she walks outside and she's like, hey, Case. And I'm like, oh, I'm in a session right now. So, just give me like 5 more minutes. And so, and I go back, so I finish the session, and then I go inside, and so we start talking, and she's like, yeah, so what are you doing? And so since we've been there for, like, 4 or 5 days so far, I'm still myself. I'm still my authentic self, but I'm dialing everything back. You know what I mean? I'm not like my full on authentic self. You know what I mean? Like, and so I'm talking to her, and instead of talking about, um, you know, I'm reconnecting people's DNA strands. Instead of talking about, we're all connected in this field of consciousness, and that I am, like, reminding them that there is this music playing, and I'm tuning them into this station where they can tune themselves. And instead of talking like that and source and whatever, I said, well, um, I used God instead of source or the universe. And I started saying that, I feel like I am a servant of God. So I'm toning everything I say down to fit her. So it's just what you're saying. So everything I'm saying, I'm filtering it so it fits with her religious beliefs. Okay. And so we start having this really cool conversation. You know what I mean? And I'm saying how much I'm helping people. I'm not talking about, like, people having conversations with, like, Octurians or like, like any of that shit. I'm just keeping it like completely on her level. And so I really feel like I'm dumbing everything down and we're having this really good conversation and she's feeling it. And I say, I'm just really talking about it from that point of view. And so later that night, I had this lady and she goes, I need an emergency session. And apparently she was having this panic attack um, because her 16-year-old son is the high school's quarterback, and she was having this overwhelming feeling like something really bad was going to happen to him that night at the game, and she couldn't control it, and she felt like it was just overriding her, and all she could think of was worst case scenarios. And after like not sleeping, she was like, Case, give me a session, please. So I give her this session, and um, and then I just went about my day, and I forgot, I didn't check my email. And then I checked my email and it said, Case. Oh, holy shit. She goes, oh my God. What'd she say? You truly have a gift from the gods. She goes, I am in so much peace. All my anxiety is gone. I feel so like, I feel so amazing. I'm a client for life. And so I'm just sitting there and I like look through that email and I'm like, I'm going to show my stepmom this. Okay. So I go, remember we were talking about like, I really feel like I'm helping people. I go, here's an email I just got with the session I gave this morning. And she looks at it and she goes, of course, she's a Christian, so she can't say shit. So she goes, holy SHIT. You truly have a, she's like, holy SHIT. You truly have a gift from the gods. Gods. Gods, plural. There's only one Lord. There's only one. And I'm like, oh fuck, dude. Like I'm like done. So do I try to frame things in just the right way? Dude, it doesn't work. Just be yourself. And like, it's like the other day, man, I got this one lady who just found my site. She was like, oh my God, I love this. Oh my God. Oh, I love this. I love blah, 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 blah. And then she went to my YouTube, my TikTok. And in my TikTok, I cuss more on my TikTok. I don't really cuss on my YouTube channel. And she goes, Case, I haven't heard you say so many swear words. And I actually found it kind of like cringy. And I'm thinking like, she goes, because you're a spiritual person. You're a healer. And I'm like, oh my God, man. I cuss. I cuss. I smoke weed every once in a while. Like I do shit, man. Like that doesn't make you not spiritual. What makes you it's how you treat people. It's all how you treat people. It's I don't know, dude. So, and see, that's another thing is you said like, are you truly being your authentic self when you're deciding to phrase things in a certain way? Or are you doing it to not offend people to get more likes or to get more, you know what I mean? And I've learned that we're so used to not being our authentic self. We're so used to wearing masks. You wear a mask with your partner and you wear a mask at work, and you act different at work, and then you act different around this neighbor, and you act different around this neighbor, and you act different around, when you're around your mom or your dad, you act a little different. And it's like we're so used to wearing all these masks, dude. That shit wears you down and it gets heavy, and it's best just to be you 100% of the time. So, but do I do that? Yeah, I do it. I do it. Like, I don't cuss on my YouTube channel just because, like we hung out, you came out and we got reconnected. I cuss. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have any problem cussing. Here's what I think people don't understand is like, what I do by connecting, by what I do on channeling these frequencies and playing my role in helping other people speed up their awakening has nothing to do. Like, I could be given a session to somebody, and I could be in my head, I could be thinking like, that dumb fucker. Like, not to my client, but you know what I mean? Like, there's something else. I could be thinking of something else. And like, that has nothing to do with the session. Like my ability to channel these frequencies has nothing to do with, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
good to know, because I always, still to this day, every single day, I have to, I say meditate, but I lay,
Mm-hmm.
pull the frequencies in and bathe in them for an hour
Yep.
every single day.
Yep.
And I'm,
Yep.
I'm,
Yep.
I'm still really like overthinking it. Like, I haven't
Yeah.
given anybody a session before because I don't know if I know how to do it right or anything
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
remember when I was over there and you had me put my hand up by your face and you said you could feel it.
oh,
And
immediately.
I
Yeah.
was like, really? I thought
Yeah.
I had to feel it too for you to feel it. And
No.
I don't
No.
know. That is cool to know, though.
No. The person that taught me how to do the personal reconnection, that 2-day process, they actually did it. They actually did this work for 2 years before they ever felt anything. And I was like, what do you mean you can't feel it? Because I came to it in a different level. I came to it like immediately. It was like magnets. And it was like, oh my God, this is so crazy. Like, oh my God, like how can everybody not feel this? Like, this is like, how can, like, I'm still amazed when people can't feel it,
Yeah.
especially when I'm around them and I'm like, dude, can you feel this? But I've just learned that, it's just like you and Leah, you lay down, you're twitching and muscles popping and everything, and then Leah lays down and feels nothing. I'm doing the same thing. So I've just, over 11 years, I've realized that we're all different, and we all respond to everything differently. So I've learned to realize that, when I was giving you a session, I wasn't doing it right. And when I'm giving Leah a session, I'm not doing it wrong. You know what I mean? I'm just doing.
Yeah.
And what, you know what I mean? And so all you have to do is just be you. And that's it. I mean, I felt it immediately when you did that, like immediately. So
Have you
I
seen any?
remember the first session I gave you, that distance session, and you were like, dude, like, what was that? And then
Yeah.
actually, I think I gave Leah a session, and you were like, hey man, do you care if I just lay down and like do it? And then I'm giving her a session, and your session was stronger that time than it was.
Yeah.
So you see what I mean? Like, I'm not smart enough to figure it out, and nobody is. Like nobody is.
Have you, in giving people sessions throughout your career, have you witnessed any really cool healings or anything crazy happen?
Oh, dude, all the time, all the time. Like, I always just think of the last one, and it was like, what's today? Thursday. I think it was like Tuesday. I got this email, and so I do these daily group sessions, and I basically, for 15 minutes, I go into that state, and I basically, to the universe, to this field of consciousness, and I go, whoever's laying down, this session's for you. I don't think of anyone, you know what I mean? Like, I know the universe knows why I'm giving the session. And for those that are laying down, the universe knows why they're laying down. I don't have to we don't have to call and be on video and stuff. So I have this lady, she signs up. I love this, dude. Like, to me, like, I love this. So this lady, she's in her 70s, and she stumbles across my video, and she signs up. So she hadn't watched my videos. She just watched the one where I said, I'm going to start doing these group sessions daily. And I feel like if you're drawn to this, that you will benefit in whatever way is best for you. I try to be real vague because I don't know what's going to happen. So she signs up, and like the first day, she's like, this link's broken. There's no videos. like this link's broken. I don't know how to log in. And I'm like, and I've had to answer this like so many times, no matter how much I try to tell, I go, there are no videos. I go, there's nothing to log into. I go, you're logged in. We're all connected right now. We're all connected. All you have to do is lay down, close your eyes, and say, Case is giving me a session. I'm laying down for this. And even though I say it all the time, but people just like they come to me at different levels, and they they don't get it. And cool, it doesn't matter if you get it. You don't have to get it. I don't even get it. So she goes, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like there's no videos. I'm like, it's cool. Just lay down and relax and close your eyes and just say, I'm giving you a session. So a week later, and I love her emails because they're one sentence. They're always one sentence. There's never more. There's no like hi. There's no like anything. It's like one sentence. And then so the next, like a week later, I get this email from her. It says, I feel it. How are you doing this? and so, and, I'm just like laughing. And so I responded, and then like a month later, I get this email. I'm starting to trust myself. Happy face. I'm like, yes, dude. Yes, man. So then, and so I kind of responded to that. And then like 2 months later, or no, like, I don't know, month, 2 months later, I get this email. I've had a disease since I was born I inherited a disease from my mom when I was born. The disease is gone. And I'm like, so like, it's what's weird about this is like the universe, I don't decide what happens to you. You don't decide what happens to you. Your higher self decides what's going to happen to you. Yeah. That's it. And another thing that's really weird about what I do is I am literally planting seeds. So I just have complete knowing that the seeds are being planted. I have no idea when it's going to grow or how it's going to grow. Now, in the beginning, trust me, when I first started doing this, I wanted that seed fucking grown the next day. Like I needed immediate like gratification. I needed immediate results then. And then after doing this for like 11 years, what I've realized is like, I get emails like 3 months later, like 6 months later. I've actually had people email me 5 years later, and they're like, hey, dude, when I first started watching your videos, I thought you were absolutely crazy, but I participated in one of your group sessions. You're like, blah, blah, blah. And dude, I'm a different person. Like and the reason, I don't know, like, I don't know. I get those, I get them all the time. I just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I just know that something happens. And that's it.
Something really crazy happened to me a couple of weeks ago. Ever since I've been like reconnected and playing with this, I've been hoping, and this might be working against me, but I've been hoping. See, I have problems with my hearing. My hearing isn't as good as it should be. And I was like, man, that would really be cool if my hearing would come back, And I've been trying to see if I can direct the frequencies into my ears, and they just won't. And I keep getting this funny intuitive feeling, like something to the effect of, you don't want to do that all at once, or you're not ready for that yet. And it's frustrating. And a couple of weeks ago, I was doing my little meditation, and I fell asleep during it. And I'm having these weird, crazy dreams. And then I found myself in this state of dreaming and being awake at the same time. And it was really strange. And I felt the frequencies creeping up my legs. And I felt this feeling. Are you sure you're ready for this?
Dude,
I'm ready for this. And then I felt it creeping up my legs, and then it hit my ears. And like straight, and it just, and dude, it felt like my whole body locked up, and I was paralyzed. Yeah. And it literally felt like I was being electrocuted, and I was trying to scream, and I couldn't scream. I was paralyzed, and it scared the hell out of me. And I still never really figured out I ended up shaking myself out of it. And I don't really know if
Yeah.
it helped me that much, but that was really crazy and bizarre that
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because it gave me this feeling that we're on whenever you pull these frequencies in, we're only giving you as much as you can handle.
Yep.
Like there
Yep.
may be like more to it that my
Oh,
body.
dude, it's unlimited. It's you're literally, this is the closest you can get to actually touching source. So we're probably getting like a fraction of 1%, like literally. And I think all we would ever need for where we're at is a fraction of a percent. You know what I mean? Like I think we would just basically burst into a ball of light, like if we access, more. It's funny because I had this one gentleman. He was probably like, "It's a group session." It's weird because I always thought that the person, I enjoy the personal sessions more, but I've had so many responses from the group sessions, which is ironic because I don't know who's participating. Which is there's this beauty to it of this. I don't know. There's a beauty to it of not knowing who's participating. But I got this one email from this guy, and he was like in his 80s. He's been wearing glasses his whole life. And now his vision is 2018. He sees like an eagle. And so immediately I'm like, dude, why does it happen to him?
Yeah,
Like, I don't want to wear glasses.
yeah,
Why can't I do this for me? Like, I want 2018 vision.
yeah.
It's just, it's not, that's not, I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's
Well, I
not.
think I'm trying to think if it was Eric Pearl himself or somebody that I heard say, and this, it had to have been him, that if you have an expectation,
Yeah,
then you'll almost like
that's it.
block it.
It
You
does.
know?
It totally. I actually enjoy people that are not gung ho, and they're slightly like, hey man, let's see what happens. I'm cool, but whatever, we'll see what happens. It's the people that are like so gung-ho and like, I know this is it, I know this is going to heal me, I know that, like it's just like, dude, no, I think you're pinching this off. You're really pinching this off from because I have things that I would like to have happen to me. Um, and I mean, I was so like when this first happened, there's a book called I'm not actually smart enough to read it, but it's called the keys of the book of knowledge, the keys of Enoch. And I'm not sure that I think probably like 0.0001% of the people are actually able to actually understand that book. And it's weird because I bought the book in like 2011. And now the book is like $700. Like, I don't know what happened. Like when I bought it, it was like 50. And now it's like this sacred like text. Like, I don't know. But anyway, it says in there that certain people, and this is correlated with Eric, because the dude that wrote it, JJ Hertek, um, he actually gave gave talks at Eric Pearl's, the Reconnection seminars, and he was saying how these frequencies and this process is what he was talking about. And he said there are certain people that will be able to reconnect with their original Adam Cadman. And the original Adam Cadman would be like almost like your original blueprint. Okay.
Mhm.
So when we come into this existence, when we manifest into this form, our cells are constantly dividing and replicating and dying and replicating. And so as we get older, it's like a Xerox, our cells become like a Xerox copy of a Xerox copy of a, you know what I mean? Eventually it starts losing its definition. You know what I mean? Because I think originally we should have lived like 1,000 years. You know what I mean? Like basically, because our cells are already reproducing themselves. So to live 1,000 years, like no big deal, but something happened. Well, many things have happened, and we lost that access to our original blueprint, and we become a Xerox copy of it. That's why, like, I got wrinkles and shit, and I got age spots, and like, Like I don't have like the hands of like, you know, a 25-year-old kid anymore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so it says that you will be able to access your original Adam Cadman. And when he says some people, I think I originally thought that like he's talking about the people that are reaching out for it. You know what I mean? Because, you know, you can go to a lot of people and they're not reaching out for this. They don't care about any of this esoteric things. They don't care about this awakening. They don't care about shit. So they're probably less likely to be the people he's talking about. But I literally thought, dude, that as my cells are going to reproduce, that my scars are going to go away, because the cells of your scars are reproducing. You know, it's not like you get a scar and then that's the cell forever. No, that scar keeps reproducing. So if you had access to your original blueprint, when that cell of that scar reproduces, it should go back to the original and the scar should disappear. Mine actually have not disappeared. But you know, there was like a couple years there where I was like, that's the level that I thought we were, this transition and this awakening, because we're absolutely recreating our body, you know, a billion times a second. That's what I believe. And so as the more our consciousness expands, the more our DNA wakes up, the more we control this recreating our body, and you know, we should be able to repair our bodies. I did hear you in one video, you were talking about what type of body do you think we're going to have in this shift. I do think that, like, so as we're going from, this is my understanding, you know, because people use different terminology. The terminology I like is like, we're going from third density to fourth density. And so as we make this shift into fourth density, the density is talking about the density of light. Okay. So as you advance, there's more light. And as you go to fifth density, there's more light. So as there's more light, you're less physical. So as we make this shift, we should be becoming less physical and more light. I know some people think that we're getting ready to shift and we're going to be like these light beings. I think we got a couple stages.
Yeah.
Like I think we got another stage before we actually turn into light. I mean, we're light on the other side, you know, and actually we are light, because, you know, everything is just light vibrating in a different frequency.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that potato chip that I ate right before we started this, dude, that's light.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that's what that potato chip is literally made of light. And it's vibrating at the frequency of something that's so salty and so good that I, you know, so.
Hell yeah. Well, it's running on about an hour and a half. Did you have maybe, before I wrap this up, did you have any other maybe positive things that you'd want to tell the people who are interested in the awakening experience?
I think that, like, I know that when I love studying as much information as I can, but I don't think that that's, I really think that you don't have to know any of this stuff to first of all, to make this transition, but to live a happy life. And I always go back to, I think that it's as simple as, at every moment, you have a variety of choices. And the key is instead of making those choices from here, you if you make those choices from here, how they feel. So you can't be like, okay, well, if I do this, then I can combine these two things and I can have more time to do this. Or, you know, like, you know, if you do it, if you make all the choices on how they feel, and if you go, this one feels a little bit more exciting, and then you make that, and then the next choice you have, this feels a little bit more exciting. I think that every time you make those small decisions based on how they feel, your vibration rises. And every time your vibration rises, you start having new thoughts. Because if you're in the fear and you're in the guilt or shame or whatever, you cannot access thoughts up here. You can only access thoughts in your spectrum of where you're at. So when you make decisions based on what feels right, your vibration rises, you start accessing new thoughts. The next thing you know, you're able to access the answers to the problems that you're having in your life. And so I really think that raising your frequency, making the shift, living a happy, fulfilled, content life can be as simple as making all those small decisions based on what they feel like, because that's where we've been in the world of rational, logical thought, and now we're moving into a heartfelt world. And you really, like, this is your internal compass, and nothing matters more than being pulled through life by what feels right. And when you feel lost and you feel stuck and you feel overwhelmed by life, the only way out is to, first of all, accept the situation you're in, not be in denial, but to move, to allow yourself to be pulled out of it through your heart and what feels right, because you won't be able to rationalize your way out of feeling overwhelmed. It's not going to happen. You're just going to trap yourself. And then, so. Well, dude, thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on, dude.
Did you have any questions or anything? I mean, not that I know any answers to anything, but like,
I think we pretty much covered the majority of what I think is some important things that people need to hear. So,
okay.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I appreciate you coming on, and I'll talk to you sometime later.
Okay, dude. Peace, brother.
All right. Peace.